Prime Minister Stephen Harper opened a 3-day conference Wednesday dedicated to maternal health.
First, we shall increase our most cost-effective immunization investments. Second, because the effects of early childhood malnutrition can stunt a person for life, we shall continue to vigorously promote better nutrition and related Canadian innovations. And third, we shall continue to work with governments to improve health systems generally.
Canada's committed $2.85 billion by 2015, plus an additional $3.5 billion today to prevent newborns in developing nations and their mothers from dying needlessly. But opposition thinks this money should include abortion coverage for women abroad. Our Marissa Semkiev caught up with some downtown protesters echoing Mulcair's message and joins me now alongside Sun News contributor Samantha Vanderbeek. Let's start off with you, Marissa. Went downtown, saw some protesters. They want Harper, our money basically, to go to covering abortions. What did you see there?
Yeah, well, there were about 12 people there at the protest, maybe 13, maybe 14. So not a big crowd, although, you know, you might think that this crowd would be larger considering all of the headlines we've seen on CBC, CTV, so on and so forth. But yeah, essentially what they're arguing is that included in so-called family planning should be abortion rights. And I love that term, family planning, which is like a silly euphemism for let's fund abortion overseas. So I take issue with this because by and large, this is seen as a positive initiative. And, you know, they're saving millions of lives, tens, hundreds of thousands of lives, not just children, but mothers. But leave it to the left, of course, to jump on Harper and his government for not funding abortions and murder overseas.
Well, that's because there's still 47,000 deaths, maternal deaths happening as a result of botched abortions. I mean, there's a professor at University of Ottawa, Stephen Brown, who likes to refer to this as a vanity summit. Oh, yes, let's help all the symptoms and not solve the problem. Let's not solve the root. Family planning. Let's talk about contraception. It's not just abortion, it's education. And giving women internationally a choice. It's interesting that our domestic policy makes it seem that we have one way of thinking it. And an international platform, we're like, no, abortion, not touching it.
You know what's never killed a woman? Abstinence. So if you don't want to have a child, why don't you just remain abstinent? You know what I also find completely...
In you know, countries where rape is used as a weapon, like in the Congo in the 90s and 2000s.
What I find particularly offensive, Sam, is that I wake up, put my pants on, walk to work, go there so that I can be taxed provincially and federally to go and fund murder overseas. I take a personal issue with it.
Murder, or it's women saving their own lives. What about the abortion in Ireland a year ago where she was prevented? It wasn't an abortion, sorry, there was no abortion. And that's why the woman died. You know, she wasn't given a choice. And this is a Western country. You know, this is a country that's supposed to have the same values as we do.
You know what? We don't even have enough money to pay for our own health care when we have grandmothers waiting for 6 months for an MRI in this country. Why are we funding abortions overseas? I just take issue with it. My personal conviction is that I don't want to be paying for this.
Because it's not just abortions. It's contraception. It's education. Like I said, what we're doing is treating all the symptoms and none of the root causes.
We should be educating, I get that, but you know what? When you legalize something, it doesn't get rid of it illegally. Just look south of the border with Kermit Gosnell.
And we should mention the fact that, you know, federal government here in Canada doesn't even cover our Canadian abortions, so what sort of mandate do they have to actually fund them abroad? And let's be very clear, those protesters that are out there are not asking for condoms, they're asking for abortions.
No, the government in Canada funds abortions provincially.
Yeah, the provincial governments, but not the federal government.
Sure.
And so this is why I don't see that, you know, there's no mandate at home. Why on earth should there be one abroad? And let's be very clear that this maternal health does provide some good.
One of the MPs, the Conservative MPs, tried to open a debate for abortion not too long ago, and Harper allowed his members of caucus to vote individually. So I think you're right. There was no mandate there, but by remaining far from the issue and not really dictating what the mandate was supposed to be, I think it was clear that Canadians are pro-choice by and large.
Let me just jump in very quickly. The countries that Harper is focusing on for this maternal health initiative, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Ethiopia, Haiti, Malawi, so on and so forth, every single one, you can see on the screen right here, every single one of them, in every single one of these countries, abortion's illegal. So what would you like to do? Defy local laws?
Good question, Marissa. I have to say, you know, Stephen Harper, we know that he's personally pro-life, but publicly doesn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. To me, as a pro-life Canadian, this has been an awesome opportunity where we get to see Stephen Harper's pro-life politics actually at play, where he doesn't back down, and he actually is able to enforce it on the global stage. And for me, I'm not so you know, terrified by that.
It's because it's a toothless initiative. It's really not
It's
solving
not.
a lot of problems.
You heard from Marissa. I mean, there are tens of thousands of lives that are saved by this.
Tens of thousands of mothers' lives. 1.3 million children under 5 years
Tens
of
of
age.
thousands, while 47,000 are still.
We don't have tens of thousands of hours to talk this out, ladies. Thank you very much.